Welcome back, BDCKR here. We're back with another glitch video. This is using the same technique as our previous glitch videos for redoing a fight, but this video is going to be a little different because we're actually recommending against using it.
Right, so we've demonstrated it in offline fights. We've demonstrated it in the last laugh ticket in Survivor. And we actually are showing you an MP mainly to explain why this is not a good idea to do.
Yeah, so basically, the gist of the glitch is that you can do a single fight and then skip a series of fights after that. And so you basically just have to do one fight and you can get the rewards for a bunch of fights. And it works a little bit differently depending on whether you're doing it for Survivor or for solo. But basically the idea is that you can do one fight and get rewards for a bunch of different fights.
Right, so you're getting the rewards, you're advancing past the fight, you're also getting the rewards for each fight, but it's taking the data from one and you're exploiting the glitch, so it's using that same data for the next fight, so the game is basically thinking that you're completing the next fight with exactly the same stats.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen any of the other videos that we made, you can go ahead and watch those. We're probably not going to explain as much of the technique in this video because we're specifically telling people not to do it, but we are showing it in the background. I think maybe what's more useful is for us to explain some of the reasons why, both for just your personal benefit but also for the benefit of the kind of quality of life of the game, that the glitch shouldn't be performed.
Right, so if you're paying attention actually to what we've just said, the key really is that it's taking the same data from the fight. So we'll show you at the end of it once we've completed everything. I guess there's another funny part of it where I'm thinking we get more battle points than we should, but I'm not 100% sure. And what happens is you actually need to do the technique twice each time to advance past, because it seems to bring you back once, like this. But that's a whole other story. It's still faster than MP and fighting it out. But what it makes you vulnerable to is getting your account suspended. Because when you look at the data for each fight, it is identical.
Exactly the same time with each character, exactly the same damage with each character, absolutely nothing has been changed.
Right, so each one of your guys does the same amount of damage, takes the same amount of damage, and the numbers for the opponent's team is going to be all the same, even if they have more health.
Yeah, so that leads to a couple of really, really easy bannable kind of stats for the game to track.
Right.
Yeah, so they could track, for example, if you've played more than 2 fights in a row that have exactly the same stats. There's no way that you'll have played 3 fights with exactly the same time and damage and everything and all that.
Yeah, the chance of... Here's the thing. I mean, we've talked about this before, and maybe we'll link to the previous video where we talked about, will this get me banned? Because even though it was done years ago, at least a couple of years ago, all the points are still valid.
Yeah.
There's going to be automatic bans, which this won't trigger. So if let's say your credit level...
Or at least not right now.
Right. I guess that's true. For now, because who knows how long we're going to keep this video up. But if you're going to not get banned automatically, there's still a chance that somebody could report your team. It doesn't take much to see it, because if somebody even looks at your past history, they can see the exact numbers, right?
Yeah. And, I mean, another source of automatic ban for this even, too, is, just like you said, you do the same amount of damage no matter what the health is, and stats ramp up throughout the fights. So, unless you're playing with absolute maximum stats, it would be really easy to check if you beat a team by dealing less than their health and damage.
Yeah.
That would be super, super easy to check, because it's impossible to do.
Right. And, actually, that's another good point, because despite the fact that splash damage doesn't count towards your character's damage being dealt, it still counts as damage taken.
Yeah.
So don't think that's actually going to be any kind of way to argue your way out of this, because it's not like this is the sort of thing that you can do inadvertently 7 times in a row, or 6 times, or however many times. Because if you're gonna, it's faster than completing the fights, but it's not automatic. It's not like you can jump millions of points all at once. You actually have to put in the time and glitch each of the fights.
Yeah.
So you're going to be looking at a pretty big pool of data that will make it hard for you. And here's the thing. The whole point of doing this is you want to get higher to get the rewards.
And if everybody does it, there's absolutely no advantage. Everybody's doing it the exact same way. You're competing with everybody else who's using the glitch.
And for I've always at least had the position that if you're doing glitch, that all it does is really improve your roster and make you get through a little faster. That's not nearly as important or as bad as pushing somebody out of the top 1%, 2%, 3, whatever percentage it is, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've talked about this before. Glitches. We only think glitches are okay to use when they're not negatively affecting somebody else. When
Directly.
When your glitch doesn't come at the expense of somebody else's enjoyment. So the problem with doing the glitch, even if you knew for 100% sure that you're not going to get banned, which you don't, right? So that risk already to us is not worth it. Even a 1% chance
Right.
of getting banned is not worth doing the glitch. But the other issue is that any advantage that you gain from skipping the time you spend playing multiplayer comes directly at the detriment of somebody else. Somebody else is getting screwed over. For every slot that you raise, everybody else is getting bumped one lower.
Yeah.
And that means that you are actually going to be like bumping people out of the top 5% or 3% or 1% or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever's underneath you.
And I know some people don't care. I mean, I get that people really think I'm just playing. I just don't care about anybody else. I'm just doing my thing. But I mean, that's the principal part. But from the practical part, you really shouldn't do it anyways, because I can't imagine that this is going to be a. It's not like, remember when they were banning Red Sun Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Where people are caught up inadvertently, people who are innocent of any kind of cheating.
Yeah.
This isn't the kind of glitch where you'd really have a leg to stand on if you got banned and submitted a ticket. And here's the thing. You're wanting the MP stuff. If to me, this is one of the higher, like really high risk glitches.
Yeah.
A high chance of getting banned. So what's the point of doing this if it's so risky, if really all you want is the MP stuff? And once you can't play MP, I know I've seen some people say, I'm okay if I can't play MP. I just really play offline is enough. The other part is that the server will no longer back up your data.
Yeah, so if you lose your phone or anything, that's it. You're done. You've got really old kind of account info.
Right. So it will keep on saving at the point where you got banned. I mean, can you imagine that? Part of the joy actually of Injustice, and part of why it's actually so good, is because it has the flexibility of switching from one account to another. There's another game, or one device to another. There's another game that I play a lot of, Renegade Midnight Star.
Yeah.
And doesn't seem to be any way to switch devices. So basically, once I'm done with the device I'm playing on, I'm done. I can't even play on another device, and I've gotten so far that I don't want to start again. Like it's actually really frustrating.
Yeah.
Knowing what's possible when you're working with such low stat weapons and armor.
Mm-hmm. So for a variety of reasons, this glitch is one that we very strongly recommend against. There's reasons that you're not going to want to do it for yourself, and really the risk of banning is never worth it if you're especially at any kind of significant amount of progress in the game. And
yeah, I think our position though has been, glitching is okay, doesn't hurt other people, but the danger is relatively low. Any kind of thing, high risk stuff, we've specifically been against. Oh, here we go. All right, so we finished. The fight, it's actually, I think it's taking us out because that was the 7th, right?
yeah, so there we go. We can take a look at stats. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the
one
big advantage of the glitch in general, not specifically your MP, is that it doesn't take a lot of energy. So we've got a whole lot of credits. I think 90,000, which is I think more than we should have. I'm not sure where that comes from. So you notice that the battle points are actually higher than expected, and I wonder if it's because the first fight had the daily bonus.
8 seconds, 1 second, 2 seconds, and then 117, 70,
right, and it's significantly
100,000.
less damage taken than their health.
Yeah.
Right, and then we'll go to the previous fight, and it's exactly the same, right? So you're gonna have
117,000, 8 seconds, and then that's 1 second, 70,000, and then it's 2 seconds, 100,000.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's exactly the same stats, and we can check one more time. I think maybe previous one.
Yeah, one more.
There we go. 8 seconds, 117, 1 second, 70, and 2 seconds, 100,000. Exactly the same.
Right. So maybe we'll do a little bit of bonus footage while we just finish wrapping up our points, right?
Yeah, and we can show you something that you actually might want to do. We'll show you using Breakthrough, just because people have been asking or
mentioning, saying,
in some cases telling us, oh yeah, it also works in Breakthrough. So we'll have a little bit of footage up there just so that people can
Yeah, so this is one of those
Confirm.
principles, actually, that we talk a lot about in terms of glitches, where you may not be the first person to discover a specific technique to make something happen, but if you have at least a little bit of an understanding about what's happening, you have the chance to exploit it in different ways, right?
Yeah, it empowers you to actually do your own thing with it, to be able to think about it critically and make your own kind of educated guesses about how it's going to work.
Yeah. So all right. So here's the breakthrough stuff. So we'll maybe talk over this a little bit. Because some people have been saying that they were doing the advancing through single player offline mode for credits for months before we posted it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure nobody else was doing it with Last Laugh tickets. And once you understand the principle of why it's happening, that's why we make a point of explaining what's happening. Then you can figure out, oh, if we can do this offline, we can do this in Last Laugh tickets, in Survivor. We can do it in Breakthrough.
Yeah.
We can do it potentially in MP, but as you saw, we're really discouraging that. I guess that's the opposite of encouraging. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's also useful to explain it more because it, I know it doesn't always. I know there's a bunch of people who will oftentimes say just it doesn't work with no kind of extra stuff. But I think understanding how it works makes it easier to troubleshoot. It definitely makes it easier for us to troubleshoot. And we like to think that that extra kind of explanation will make it easier for other people to troubleshoot.
Right.
If it's not working, they'll understand more about what's happening and why it might not have happened.
Right. So this is going to be a little bit funky because I've done this before, and it's a bit messed up. I think this is also like MP where you have to do it twice each time to get registered. I'm not 100% sure, but it does something really funky where, anyways, we'll see. So, anything else that we should talk about? I don't think
that's
so.
everything that I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though. You've brought up a few points before where these kind of errors, these glitches that are available, have been in there for a long time, but it becomes harder and harder to find them. Not because they're not there,
Because less people are playing, and the easier glitches, the ones that make more sense to do or are more likely to have been done by accident, are found quicker.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that are actually found more often through play. I have no clue how whoever the first person to find this glitch found it. I don't know.
So yeah, there's no, and don't, I guess there's going to be times, right now the glitch is available, but there's going to be times where it's not. Don't lose heart. I guess if you're watching this at a time when stuff is patched, that it seems like there's usually something available, even if there's months in between. All right, and so we don't have a choice to go back to store. Now we're done. That means look. Oh, that's funny. So we were fighting Flash.
We weren't fighting the boss.
Yeah, and that's it.
So there you go. That's us doing exactly one breakthrough fight and finishing breakthrough using the glitch. So there you go. I think that's everything.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.